Hey. All right. How's everybody doing out there? It's the first live stream on YouTube. Hit me with them questions. I'm just going to play a little bit. Play some songs that I love. Get the right angle for you all here. Stand by. That's better. It's getting better. I guess it's the stagehand's day off today. You know I can't be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to heart that's true. Baby, I made you mad. If there's something I might have said, please let's forget the past. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Why should we be apart? Really love you, baby, cross my heart. Well, don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know I want you to say, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Maybe it's just you I'm dreaming of. Well, don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know I want you to say, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm dreaming of. Oh yeah. Definitely a live stream about how to get good at performing live. Because I thought I was ready until, things started to go wrong right before I had to play. I was going to even get warmed up and make sure I had something together before I started. And then the computer started messing up, the camera started messing up, and this thing's annoying me. And then at the last minute, I thought, I need to use a mic. And so the biggest lesson of this whole live stream and Q&A is that to get good at performing live, you got to do it all the time. You got to do it frequently. Just to, sand the nerves off. So you don't have any nerves about it. So that you really know that you can dance in the songs. And I'm not talking about physically dancing. Well, maybe, but like really feeling secure in the songs. And, for instance, I chose to do a song that I know pretty damn well as the first song, just to kind of get started with this live stream. And as I was playing, I noticed that the mic stand was really weird where it was at, and it was getting in my head. And then I'm trying to use the looper, and it was in a weird spot, so I was dancing around. And you better believe the next time I do it, I'm going to set myself up for success. And that's pretty much that's what I'm talking about, is you want to do it enough to where you're just ready. You're ready for whatever comes at you. And you can have fun with it no matter what's happening, even if stuff's breaking. Yeah. So I got my guitar tuned to drop D. Which is one of my favorite things to do. Even if it is usually slightly out of tune. With the whammy bar and all that. For one thing, I sing a lot in the key of D, which it matches my voice pretty well. But I just love how I can get these big chord on the one when I'm playing in D. So, and I think Waylon Jennings did that quite a bit. A lot of the Elvis stuff is in D, so it works quite well. In fact, Brian Setzer in Rock This House, I just tuned it, and I'm gonna every time I've seen Setzer play, he at some point he decides to go like mid-song, and that's pretty cool that he does that. So take you on that journey. Let's see if I can do it again. Do it better. He's doing his thing. So that's pretty cool. I love it when that happens. Another thing about performing live, if you don't play a lot on the electric guitar, especially, you'll find out real quick that you need a tuner pedal or some way to silence yourself and tune on stage without subjecting the audience and the rest of the band to it. I mean, that's pretty standard torture to make the audience sit there while you tune it and they can hear everything. So I'm big on the tuner pedal, where I can talk to y'all while I'm tuning it. I'm actually checking that low string while I'm talking. So if you're getting out there and you're going to play live, tuner pedal. This one's a poly tune because once I started going to Norway and traveling a lot, I just started making my pedal board smaller and smaller. And even this year, for my June dates in Norway, I'm thinking about going no pedals. But what am I going to do for a tuner if I go no pedal board, which is to me like the toughest, most like real blues man way to play, no pedals? How am I going to make sure that my guitar's in tune all the time while I'm playing? Because I'm one of those guys that checks the tuning between songs because it's just super important to me. Anyway, so I guess I could use a headstock tuner when I'm out there in Norway, or if you have a headstock tuner, that's probably going to be fine if you're going to get started. Just make sure you turn your volume off so you don't torture the audience with that. So tuning, super important. You're going to play live. Tommy Emmanuel says that he spends a significant amount of time tuning before he even goes on stage. And that's right on, because I mean, nothing will get in your head more than just trying to feel it and it's just slightly out. So yeah. You guys hit me with a question. If there's something you want to know, talk about on this live stream, I'd love to do it. What's next? Well, since we're in D, we'll keep it. Cowboys ain't easy to love. So I want to use the mic. It's so much easier to sing, but I should have set up a boom stand and all that. But I will the next one. That's why I'm doing this live stream, is to sand the rust off, It's been the holiday season. I have a baby now. I recently was injured and I had to spend a lot of downtime. So I haven't been playing, and I'm like, oh man, I got to get this live stream going. get back to performing, even if it's just here at the studio. Cowboys ain't easy to love, and they're harder to hold. They'd rather give you a song than diamonds or gold. Lone Star bell buckles, faded old Levi's, and each night begins a new day. You don't understand him, he don't die young, probably just right away. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Let them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they'll never stay home, and they're always alone, even with someone they love. Cowboys like smoke-filled pool rooms and blue mountain mornings. Little warm puppies, children and girls of the night. Men that don't know them wanna like them and something to do. Sometimes won't know how to take it. He ain't wrong, he's just different, but his pride won't let him do things that make you think he's right. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Let them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they'll never stay home, they're always alone, even with someone they love. Let's try a solo, guys. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Let them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they'll never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love. Oh man, this mic stand is really pranking me. I'm pranked myself with this thing. Seems to be how it always is, though. You think you're ready, and then 5 minutes before it's go time, you remember, oh, I didn't set up the mic, or at least that's how it is for me. But when I'm playing gigs all the time, that seems to never happen. You know, like all the gear is always there. Like your gear kit, like all the stuff that you take the gig is ready to go. You're just on point. It actually reminds me a lot of doing like jiu-jitsu tournaments and boxing tournaments, where like if you're doing it all the time, it's just like not a big deal. But that first one, it's really like you almost just got to think of the first one as like the practice run or the dry rehearsal. Dry rehearsal? Is that a thing? Dress rehearsal. Dress rehearsal. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit me with a question, comment, request. Where should we go next? What kind of guitar stuff should we do now? Maybe an instrumental? All right, so I was talking about my pedal board earlier, and I've really been using the smallest one possible lately, mostly for flying around, fly gigs, and like when I play downtown, it's just so much easier to have one less thing I could just strap on. So right now I'm using this carbon copy delay. Hear that echo? Let's overdo it just so you guys can hear it. More. Okay, that's probably out of control, but should we try some sleepwalk? Get this damn thing out of my face. Need to be free. man, I think I was holding my breath that whole time. It's been a long time since I played that song and just played in general. But I will notice that after about 3 or 4 songs, I start to just feel pretty good and get back in the groove of things. Speaking to this, how to get good at performing live situation. I mean, honestly, there was like 80 things that didn't work out in that last thing that I was just playing, but it was there enough for me to really enjoy it, you know. So it was interesting because I was messing up all over the place in my, not messing up, but like not playing exactly the way I wanted it to come out. But I was luckily I was in this place where it wasn't taken away from me enjoying what I was doing, which I think if you can find that, no matter what level you're at or who you're playing for, that's what it's really all about, is just to enjoy what you're doing, you know. So I was digging it. Sleepwalk, I still love to play that. Richie, what's next, y'all? Hit me with some kind of question, or I'm just gonna keep talking about guitar stuff that I think is important. Maybe we'll switch to a different guitar in a second here. Once again, using the tuner while I'm talking. I know it's not silent. I am torturing you guys a little bit with the tuning. I know it's not silent because this guitar is pretty loud, just not amplified, but it could be worse, friends. One time I saw Chuck Berry at the Blaisdell Arena in Hawaii. This was like maybe 20 something years ago, and his guitar was super out of tune. So he, no tune or nothing. He's one of these guys. He just plugs directly into the amp. He walks over to the piano player. This is in front of like 12,000 people. And he just is like telling the piano player, like, E, tune it. 12,000 people. So this is funny because I'm telling you guys, look, you got to find a way to tune your guitar quietly, silently, so you don't torture the audience and your band with it every time you want to tune. Meanwhile, one of my freaking heroes, Chuck Berry, is just having the piano player play the note in front of 12,000 people and just tuning his guitar. That show was crazy though, because he ended up going to each member of the band, because you know this is the time period where he would just fly in and play with whatever band the promoter hired. So these guys were from the symphony, God bless them. They were in the union, but they clearly didn't know his music or really what it takes to play rock and roll. And during the show, Chuck walked over to every single instrument and like kind of showed them how to play their instrument. So like the piano player, who was clearly good, like accomplished piano player, Chuck like is showing him right hand stuff, like, no man, play the blues in front of 12,000 people. Okay. He goes over to the bass player and he's playing and he's doing this, and he says on the mic to the bass player, he's like, I'm not rocking with you, I'm showing you where the beat is. Savage. And then the drummer was up on this riser, and he's like, I can't come up there, I'm not leaving you out, I would show you too, but so finally he ends up just telling the band to stop playing. He's like, just stop. And he's like, I'm gonna play solo for you guys. And he played Johnny Be Good by himself, and he said, if this doesn't get the show started, nothing else will. I'm sorry folks, I'm just gonna do it. And he played like 3 or 4 songs by himself, and he said, I'll make it up to you, and then walked off stage, which was crazy. I never expected. I mean, the thing is, like, the confidence this dude had to just own it no matter what. Like, I think that's what we all need if we're going to play live. Just get in this state where you're just like, I'm amazing and I got something to say to y'all. I mean, I think that's the key. Practice like crazy. Like get it together so you could if you're singing, you know the lyrics backwards and forwards, you could sing it in your sleep, or you got a signature lick or signature part. Practice like crazy, but when you get on stage, let it all go and just be like, I am the man or woman, and I'm going to just show you guys some real shit right now. You can't, there's like no self-consciousness. You cannot be self-conscious on stage. And I actually got a lot of that when I was in music school is rough, you guys. Everybody's just like constantly judging each other and evaluating each other and comparing each other. And if you're 18 or whatever, like I was when you're starting university music studies, it's a rough experience. It's not a very like at least for me and the other music students that I've talked to, people who got music degrees, they agreed it's a pretty rough environment where everybody's kind of just comparing themselves and out for themselves, and it's a total ego scene. It's an ego scene, man. But this idea that you could just have this like unstoppable confidence and not be self-conscious, I got that from reading Bruce Lee's book, which is crazy. But he just talked about training yourself to where your attention can totally be on your opponent. Or in this case, if you're playing music, your attention can totally be on what you're creating, which is the song in the moment. So hope that makes sense to y'all. Let's see. Joe, what's up, buddy? Can you talk about how to open up for a gig? First song, the energy. What is your favorite opening song? Oh, this is great. That's a great thing to do. Actually, my mentor back in the day when I first started when I was like, I'm going to make money and survive playing electric guitar in bands and singing, playing in bands, doing it. That's how I'm going to do it. I had a really close friend and mentor that helped me out. And he said, look, first song, do a song you know so well. I don't care if you hate it. You've played it too many times. Start with a song that you just can do backwards and forwards. Okay. So Joe, that one's for you, buddy. Start with a song that you could do in your sleep. You're in a coma, they put a guitar in your hands, that song would come out. Okay. That's the one you want to do first. And I always opted for going for a high energy song right out of the gate. In fact, there was a time when I used to really freak out about this, and I'd be like, okay, you got to start with high energy. Second song, even higher energy. Third song, bring it down just a little bit, but not a ballad. So you might play with that, Joe, but I would definitely say start with a high energy one. And my buddy Sean Thibodeau in Hawaii told me a long time ago, he's like, could we just know what the first three songs are? Could we at least just really have the first three come out of the gate? Which makes sense, because after that first three, the first 15 minutes, first 20 minutes of playing, I think that's when most of us really kind of settle into the performance, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Open up for a gig, first song, energy. Yeah. Whole lot of shaking going on. Great first song to start. That would be a good one. That would be really, really good. Joe, do you do that song? Whole lot of shaking going on. That's a good one. I personally have been taking the piano pretty seriously since the lockdown. I decided that I was going to practice the piano a little bit every day. It's kicking my ass, and it's really helping me understand what it's like to be a guitar student again. I mean, I'm always a student. I'm always trying to learn stuff on the guitar, but to like really, really want the sound to come out and just not have the ability, it's been humbling, and it's really made me more empathetic towards all of my students, for sure. And it's given me a new perspective on how to work with people who are learning, for sure. A whole lot of shaking going on. How would I do that? I don't know. I haven't been singing in a while. I could try it though. This could be bad. That's fine though. We're all friends here. The piano riff is... Joe, what's the first line? Come on over, baby. Okay, let's try it. If I was on guitar, I'd probably just do one of these. I call this the Chuck Berry. It's probably Johnny Johnson actually moved over to the guitar. Come on over, baby. Heard a lot of shaking going on. Come on over, baby. Maybe you can't go wrong. We ain't faking. Come on over, baby. We got chicken in the bone. Who's my bone? Your bone. Ooh, honey, baby got the boom of the hose. We ain't faking. Oh, lot of shaking going on. Well, it's shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it, baby. Ooh, one time for me. Come on over. Oh, a lot of shaking going on. Oh, come on. Well, it's shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Ooh, honey. One time for me. Come on over. Oh, a lot of shaking going on. Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, honey. Ooh, one time for me, baby. Come on over. Oh, a lot of shaking going on. Oh yeah. So that actually makes me think about, um, playing. When I started soloing right there, I was like, "Damn, this is fast. Damn, this is fast as shit." And I remembered that one of the keys to playing a solo on a fast song is to just keep it super simple and play with the rhythm of the whole thing. So I think a lot of us, when we're starting out or we're going to play it fast, we think we also need to play fast. Like, so the song is fast. Playing a bunch of notes at that speed requires some serious technique that you don't necessarily need in that instance, because especially in a rock and roll song like this, it's more about making people move. It's not so much about note choices and playing something super interesting. It's more about playing something that makes people move. So if you're feeling like you need to play a bunch of notes, it's going to be really hard to pull off, and that probably won't do the job of making people move. So I would suggest going for something simple, like I'm playing rhythmically and I'm leaving a hole. I think that's going to do much more for your solo, and just it's going to be way more fun. So let's contrast those two. Let's say we're playing the solo. Pretend that's in tune, you guys. All right, I can't deal with it. So we're going to contrast that after I tune this beast. Close enough. Here we go. All right. So first, I'm going to try to play a lot of notes, and see, and then after that, I'm going to play something just kind of rhythmically with lots of holes. Holes meaning like rhythmic spaces. So here we go. Lots of notes. Let's see if this works. Oh gosh. It's challenging because my default setting, maybe after years of playing, or maybe just from listening to the style, like you listen to Chuck Berry, you listen to the great rock and roll 50s rock and roll cats, it's going to be something something based on the rhythm playing with the groove, not these like 80s shredder like fast single lines. So let's try it again. See, it just seems like too much brain, too much thinking to try to make all that happen. So try it. Hit me with a comment. You see if you can play something like some crazy single line. But I'm gonna say if you're playing rock and roll, fast blues song, fast rock and roll song, go for rhythm and drama. Just more fun. You can kind of tell the story. Or you can do like the Jimmy Vaughn approach. Anyway, I think you get the point. And by the way, if you're playing some rock and roll stuff, get some double stops together, guys. It just cuts through the band and it's so much more fun. Joe just said it. Yes, this genre definitely just demands a double stop type licks. I guess it's more like the 80s rock, the 70s kind of like hard rock type stuff. That's more the fast single line stuff. But you got to consider that stuff is really saturated with either like overdrive, distortion. A lot of that stuff has like phasers on it and stuff, which change the character of the single lines and make it a little bit more present. So if we're speaking about like 50s and 60s style guitar solos, go with the double stops for sure. And if you're in the world of like 70s and 80s kind of guitar hero-y type stuff, you're probably going to be like super distorted, or maybe got a fuzz pedal, octave pedal. That thing will cut through the mix for sure. Nice. Love it. Great questions, Joe. What's next, y'all? Where should we go from here? Actually, maybe slow it down a little bit, play this like kind of blues thing. We'll talk about some chords for that. By the way, y'all, if you're trying to get good, you're trying to perform, start practicing with a looper. There's nothing that's a better teacher than having to suffer to your own shitty rhythm guitar playing. I'm telling you, if you're trying to play a solo and the rhythm track that you're playing over is your own bad rhythm, you'll get good fast on both sides. You'll get really good at playing rhythm stuff, playing in the pocket, and then you'll get instant feedback about playing lead lines, all that stuff. Okay, so anyway, focusing here, we're gonna play something kind of slow blues, slowish blues, B flat. Just laying down this loop here before I play some chord voicings that I really, really dig. got here? Oh, we need the tremolo there. Love it. Anyway, just kind of riffing around. Kind of got into this thing where just looking for different voicings, different chords I could play on blues songs really just became like this. It occurred as this lost art to me. So I really started to search out different voicings and chords that I could play on blues tunes. And then, you get into like, well, different types of blues tunes. Sometimes on the 5 chord, you can't really play a 9 because the melody has like a sharp 9 or a flat 9, which that can kind of beat you down a little bit if you get in the weeds there. But just thinking about like dominant 7th chords and 9th chords, like this B flat 9 here, or this E flat 9 that I was playing like this a lot, E flat 13. That stuff just sounds. That's really the stuff that makes the hair on my arm stand up. Really gives me the chicken skin or whatever you want to call it. Like interests the crap out of me because there's just so many different feelings in one of these chords. It trips me out. Love that stuff. And then of course taking a solo is great. I was thinking about B.B. King a little bit there, which I haven't been playing at all. So that's cool. Because one of the first things that I really got into in the blues was just trying to emulate B.B. King as much as I could. So I like that, even though I haven't played in a long time. One of the first things that came back was some B.B. King. Love that. So let's see. Oh, we got a comment here. Team Fonten. When you get the chance, what were the Hendrix and R&B tabs? My son asked, watched the video, wanted to know for sure. It was on one of the previous videos I did. Oh yeah, the Hendrix thing, the Hendrix style is a great way to look at not so much like rock and roll double stops, but R&B soul double stops. Yeah, could definitely do another lesson on that and put some tabs on the YouTube. Very useful to take apart these bar chords. Like, say, for instance, you had a D chord. My friend calls this the double A battery chord. And I think I love it. It's good. I think we could all use some ideas like this. So this kind of 5-string bar chord on a D, the idea is that you retain this double A battery. I'm gonna start using this. But then I'm gonna play my double A battery with this finger. So I switch. But now my bass note is over here. So my bass note moved up by a major third, which is to the 4 frets. So these 3 notes, those stay, but I now have a different bass note. Doing that puts me in this position to do this kind of Hendrixy thing. So I can definitely do another video on this. There's a lot of people talk about that stuff because, you know, Hendrix is one of the main schools of electric guitar. A lot of guys do that stuff on YouTube. But I could definitely do another video on that. In fact, let me see. Should I play? I could play a Hendrix too. Why not? But I'm going to use this telly over here. It's funny that I'm going from like a kind of more of a rockabilly or rock and roll thing to a Hendrixy thing, because that's pretty much how I became a guitar player. I really got into rockabilly, Elvis, all the Sun Records stuff when I was a teenager, but I never could play it. I couldn't really play in a way. I just wasn't that good until I really started to study after I was like 18 or 20. But when I was 15, I would listen to these rockabilly records and be like, dude, what is this? It's amazing. It really just blew my mind. And that was kind of how I got into blues music too. So after I was into the rockabilly thing, I also discovered Hendrix, which really just like, it was a whole nother level of what it meant to be an artistic person. So, you know, like a lot of us, we grew up in this world where people like their music is their identity, and they say negative things about music they don't like, or people that like that type of music, like, oh, that stupid thing or whatever. That never really worked for me. Like, and even like Waylon talks about this stuff. He talks about how like music genres is just labels for labels to sell the music. It's not really about being an artist. And it just blew my mind what Hendrix, this idea that he was like this unbridled creativity. And he came from being a soul guitar player, an R&B guitar player, which really was right up my alley. So it was like all the Memphis stuff, rockabilly, and the Stax record stuff, like Booker T and the MGs, blew my mind. And that's the stuff that really inspired me to play more than anything else. So Hendrix was a natural stop for me, and I will play a Hendrix song right now. The solo on this one has some weird chord changes, so there will be no looping. I'll just do my best to get through it. After all the jacks are in their boxes, and the clowns have all gone to bed, you can hear happiness staggering on down the street, footprint dressed in red, and the wind whispers, Mary. A broom is drearily sweeping the broken pieces of yesterday's life. Somewhere a queen is weeping. Somewhere a king has no wife. And the wind screams Mary. It's been a while. Can't believe I remembered that. A broom is drearily sweeping the broken pieces of yesterday's life. Somewhere a queen is weeping. Somewhere a king has no wife. And the wind it cries Mary. Well, the wind never remember the name it has blown in the past. With its crutch, its old age, and its wisdom, son, this will be the past. And the wind it cries Mary. Oh man, haven't done that one in a while. I think I got 80% of the lyrics. Anyway, that's one of my favorite Hendrix songs actually. So, if you really love music, there's something in any genre that will move you, that you'll like. So, I'm not saying that everybody has to like everything, but if you're like, you know what, I love music, I'm going to be open to hearing some new stuff in any genre. Oh, let's see. We got another comment here. I remember it was Metallica growing up, maybe a little Guns N' Roses, then Nirvana. Man, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Most of the like really good blues guitar players that I know that are like my generation, 30s, 40s, they all got into music from, I'm talking about the cats who are playing, like known guys. They all initially got into music from metal and hard rock, which is pretty cool. It's like, it's funny because I talk about this a lot because I host these teen music camps. Excuse me, and I've been teaching guitar for a long time, but like that kid that teenager that is listening to rock or metal and stuck in their room playing electric guitar, that is a special kid. You got to take care of that kid and you got to empower them, because that's the person that's going to become the badass musician of the future. These are the people that connect us to our humanity, the ones who are willing to give up some Saturday nights at the party and stay home and play their guitar. I know musicians can be a little bit weird, but that's part of why they make such cool stuff. So if there's probably some 20-year-old girl in your town who is obsessed with Alice in Chains, that girl in 15, 20 years is going to be one of the coolest, most important artistic people around. So yes, most of the musicians from my generation got started because of metal, hard rock, punk rock. So if there's some weird kid with painted fingernails and their dyed black hair in their face in your family and they're obsessed with playing guitar, support that kid. Get them some opportunities to play, because that we got to take care of the next generation. Otherwise, it's going to be all freaking robots, you guys. Man, we're getting some Frank, what's up? Hey, Rye, could you give any insight on supporting another performer who doesn't have great rhythm? Oh, Frank, man. Oh, man. This is a great question. Okay. Insight on supporting another performer who doesn't have great rhythm. So, Frank, we're talking about maybe you're playing live with somebody or you're just playing some music with somebody that doesn't have great rhythm. Um, dude, we could talk about this for hours. Look, everybody is at their certain level with rhythm. And if you can communicate with this person in a way that keeps them from getting defensive, and if you can communicate in a way that will let them know that you are there to support them and it's about making the band sound good or making the performance good. Everyone has something to learn and some development rhythmically. Everyone. I mean, you see these studio musicians who are in their 50s, they've been playing rhythmically to a click their whole life. They'll tell you that they still are developing it. So it's not just some people have rhythm and some don't. Let's just start there. Now, yeah, man, I've run into, I've worked with a lot of singers who, maybe they started in a way where they didn't really have to be accountable for like when to come in. And, there's all these jokes that you say like, oh, the singer came in and right in the middle of my solo, or we skipped the bridge, because the singer's coming in all these weird spots. It's kind of the similar situation when you're playing with somebody that doesn't have great rhythm. If you're trying to solo and they don't have great rhythm, maybe work with them in a way where like, look, simplify their part, and you might have to cue them when to change chords. That's one of the most challenging things is when people aren't aware of, keeping to the grid. Like, let's say you're playing a song and you want to improvise, you want to play a solo, but they don't play, let's say it's a 12-bar blues. They're having a hard time keeping track of 4 bars of the 1, 2 bars of the 4 chord. Hit me with a question if that doesn't make sense to you, but or they're just kind of lagging behind or slowing down and speeding up. Slowing down and speeding up, that's much easier to deal with. Slowing down and speeding up is much easier to deal with than somebody who's not keeping track of each measure. But you just got to talk to them, Frank. You got to say, hey, let's simplify the part, or how can we make this a little bit better? Now, if they are singing, a lot of times if you're performing and there's no time to rehearse and they're singing, you're backing them up, you kind of got to just be psychic. And what I mean by that is, like, if you listen to a lot of the Johnny Cash live records, Johnny Cash would come in a lot of weird spots and his band would just fix it right on the spot. And, there's a tendency to be like, well, he's wrong and get pissed at him. But you're talking about Johnny Cash. If he's coming in, that's where you got to be. Like, if the singer is coming in a certain spot, the right place is wherever they are. And I know that's a little bit hard to digest, but it takes a little bit of humility to be like, okay, right and wrong doesn't even matter. The right thing is to make sure that the singer is supported. So if you're backing up a singer that doesn't have great time and you don't have really time to work on it with them, I would definitely just modify so that they're still staying on track. And it could be annoying. There could be a conversation, if you can rehearse it or talk to them later. It always helps me to have this context when I'm talking to other musicians that it's just music. It's not brain surgery. No one's going to die. And at the same time, it's really fun to do it well. So it's kind of like this speaking out of two sides of your mouth. Like, look, we want to do it right. We want it to sound good. But at the same time, no one's going to die if we mess up or something goes wrong. In fact, the more stiff you are, the more likely things are going to go wrong. So I hope that helps you, Frank. Let's see what else we got here. Now we're getting some comments. I love this. When you get the chance. Oh yeah, thank you, Devin. Yeah, so your son that plays guitar likes John Mayer clean sounds, huh? Yeah, definitely, man. Pretty sure those are mostly Stratocaster sounds. Classic guitar stuff, electric guitar stuff. Oh, Walking in Memphis, huh, Joe? The solo to Walking in Memphis. How do you think about the solo? All right, so I don't really know that song, Joe, but let's talk about it for a second here. Devin, let's talk about those sounds. I'm going to wrap up this live stream pretty soon, but Devin, we'll talk about getting those sounds with. I'm going to guess that your son has a Strat because I know that you have like 80 Stratocasters. Yeah, we'll talk about getting those clean sounds off this chat, but that and then Frank, I'm glad that you're just willing to just make it sound good, buddy. And then Joe, let's talk about Walking to Memphis. This will be a good place to end. The chords are F, G, C, and A minor, huh? Okay. So I was walking in. Is it like a? That seems right. Okay. So Joe, I'm gonna figure out how to solo on F, G, C, and A minor. We're gonna talk about that. I hope this is exactly what you need. Walking in Memphis. I'll be okay, so I got my loop. Look, Joe, when you're in a major key, first place to start, I would go with a C major pentatonic vibe. I usually don't tell people to play scales as a solo. There's a whole world of that, and I actually grew up in the 80s and early 90s, and like there was this whole world about like learn a bunch of scales and play that shit as fast as you can. Yeah. To me, that's the path to the dark side because I want to play something melodic. Of course, learn all the scales, but don't think of your solo as I'm going to play a scale. Think of the solo as I want to play a melody. So I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth. C major pentatonic or a pentatonic scale, a major pentatonic scale is so melodic. So you can think of riffs that are based on that. So if I was going to play, good place to start. Walking to Memphis, I'm going to use just that one tool. See, just playing the scale itself is so melodic. I'm going to be having a 3-day challenge on my website coming up here pretty soon, blackbeltmusician.com. We're going to talk about this exact pattern because it is so useful all over the place. You get this one pattern down. There's all this R&B stuff that you can do. Let's see. Country stuff. From this one pattern, major pentatonic pattern. So if you're watching this like a week or two later, go to blackbeltmusician.com. I'm working on this 3-day challenge that you can get for free there. And it's almost ready. It's just I'm dealing with some tech BS, and my business partner, who is awesome, he's like, it's just it's in process. So about a week from now, you're gonna be able to get on there, blackbeltmusician.com. Joe, you got so many options. What I would warn against is trying to play an actual major scale. Like you see a lot of people go, oh, this is like such a music school thing. You can just play a C major scale. Just play a C major scale. And somebody would try to play a solo using. Whoops. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's going to sound so scaly. It's only through practice that that didn't sound like just a scale. Keep it pentatonic at it. That's why in my Blue Belt course, when I start people improvising, I immediately just get them really good at pentatonic scales because if that's the first thing you learn and that's your default to just go to this really melodic place, you're gonna just come out of the gate improvising, sounding good, instead of like so many people who they learn this way where you just learn a bunch of scales, major scales all over the whole neck, and then they start improvising and it doesn't move people because it just sounds like a bunch of notes. So melodies, that's what I'm getting at. Joe, I'm going to try to keep it major pentatonic only. Hendrixy. Country. Joe, I hope that helped you, man. Maybe if you guys like that, hit me with a comment. Maybe I'll do a lesson on some of those licks. Same sounds, just kind of a different context when you switch it from like a R&B thing, what I called Hendrix in that moment, versus like a country vibe. A lot of that's just the attack, y'all. So really appreciate you guys watching this live stream. I'm gonna do it more often. You know, I'm really working on my channel a lot, working on my courses a lot, and I'm pretty clear that what I'm here for is to help other people shine. So if there's something that you're working on the guitar, hit me with a comment. I love making these videos. Check out my courses at blackbeltmusician.com. I really set them up in a way where people learn the right thing in the right order. So you're not getting bogged down with some hard thing that maybe would be so much easier if you had the right foundation. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But I'm here to lift other people up and help them shine, as well as rock myself, because I love playing and I love teaching this stuff to people who really care about music, and people who care about the old school stuff, the twangy stuff, the real heartfelt music from back in the day. It's still happening. You know, there's killer bands that are happening nowadays. Like, I mean, Dale Watson is still kicking ass. Check him out, Dale Watson. Even like people like the Black Keys, and even down to like Jack White playing this hard rock or like kind of soul vibe stuff. It's still happening. It's not just old music. It's just a different culture now. It's its own thing. So if you feel like music's getting a little processed or computer based, don't worry. There's still plenty of us roots music people out there in the world, and it's still thriving. So you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.